Hello, hello. Happy World Card Making Day. I'll wait to see if I get a few people pop in. It's a beautiful day here today. I wonder if most of you are having a beautiful fall day as well. I've been enjoying watching our other live videos today. Just finished with Carla. That was awesome. I had to jump in a little late, but I got most of it caught up, so I'm anxious to finish it a little later today. Hi, Rana. Well, today I have designed actually a card that is pretty quick and simple, and it only involves stamping, so no coloring from me today. Part of that is because most of my markers need some attention, and I have been so crazy busy this last week I haven't gotten it done, but also because it's fun sometimes just to play with our inks. So I designed a card. I call this triple time stamping, and if you remember this technique from, oh gosh, years ago, when I started making cards probably 10 years ago, this was a technique that was brought around, and I'm just putting a little bit of a different spin on it. So typically triple time stamping, the idea behind that is that you stamp once, but it looks like you've stamped 3 times. Hey, Kim. It looks like you've stamped 3 times because of the way you layer your paper. And it works really well with solid stamps and with large stamps that have been colored in. And the reason I say medium to large is because you've got the different layers in your card. So I'm going to be using, I'll show you the card here in a sec. I'm going to be using the Solid Holiday stamp set, and then I'm also going to be using our Crafty Scenery 1 stencil with the circles. In the circle part is what we're going to use, and then I'm using the So Many Circles stencil as well. And if you don't have the So Many Stencils or the Crafty Scenery one, either one will work just fine for this project on its own. So oh good, you're getting all the ink restocks already. That's awesome. Beautiful day. Yeah, it's so nice here. So what I've done with this one is, because I only want to use the larger circle on the So Many Circles and the smaller one, and I get my fingers in things, so I've just created kind of a mask with painter's tape to block off where I don't want to color. And I tried to pick ones in the middle because sometimes when I'm inking the stencil on the edge of something and I don't have something to cover it, like here, I would get the ink on the outside of it as well. So anyway, if you want to take a sec to do that, or just even know, you can use sticky notes, you can use other things to move it around. That works really well too. This is the card that we are making today, and like I said, it's pretty quick and simple. It's really fun, and the part that makes it triple time stamping, if you will, like I said, is that when you stamp, or when you are, in this case I'm stenciling, and then you've got 3 layers. As you separate them, it looks like you've done it 3 times, but you've really only done it once. So it's kind of a cool effect. And how much of your layers show, or how big of stamps you use, will tell you kind of how wide in between your layers of paper you want to have. So in this case, I've only done a 1/2 inch increments in between each of my sizes. So my first size is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And my second layer is 3 1/2 inches by 4 and, let's see, it was 4 3/4 inches. I had to stop and think. So 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 inches. And then the last layer of the white cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've cut matted pieces, just 1/8 of an inch larger for each section for when we're done coloring with the inks and stamping on there. Whoops. To separate them in between, which then gives even more of that effect of the triple time stamping. So the first thing that we need to do to make this card is we need to stick our pieces together. And I'm using just a removable tape that I bought like at the office supply store. If you have a two-way glue, this works awesome for temporary tape too, or not tape, but temporary glue. So you put it on, it's blue, when it dries it's clear, and then it's temporary. And that's a really great way to have a temporary glue as well. So I'm going to sit down here and get started with my layers. And like I said, my first white layer is my 5 1/4 by 4. And I gotta stand up so I can see if I'm on frame here. There's such a lag in the computer and what I see on my phone, so it's hard for me to see. I gotta make sure I'm in there. So I'm gonna just also, because I don't want this to move around a lot on my paper, and I'm not using my magnet pad because I don't want them to be in the way when I'm stenciling. So I'm just gonna put a little dash of this temporary tape on the back of this piece of paper as well, just to hold it down, so it doesn't squiggle around on me while I'm inking and while I'm adding my layers. And so again, you don't need a ton, just a little bit, just enough to hold it down onto that next layer. So my next layer, like I said, is my 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So again, those 1/2 inch increments. And I'm just kind of looking to see if it's pretty even. Grid paper helps a ton for this for sure, because you can kind of see, use your lines as a guide to help you put it where you need it to be. And then my third layer is, and you kind of want to, you don't want your edges to come up too much. So this time I'm going to kind of just put my temporary tape on the edges. And again, just a dot. I don't, because I want to be able to pull it up without warping my paper afterwards. And this is my 3 inch by 4 1/4 inch layer. And so again, I'm just layering it down there. Hi, Teresa, you found me. I'm glad you found me. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've just tacked my layers on top of each other using my temporary tape, my removable temporary tape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using my stencil. And I first chose, this stencil here, by the way, is so awesome because it has such great spaces in between the circles that you don't have to worry about your colors bleeding into each other while you're using a particular circle. But I'm using today for inks, I'm using the Charming Chartreuse, the Emerald Green, and the Ruby Red for my inks. And so I'm starting by putting one of the largest circles kind of in the middle, somewhere along that first. So here's my main front panel, and I'm just kind of finding a spot to put one big circle kind of in the middle of it. I want that so that I can put my sentiment in there. And then I'm going to grab a piece of my painter's tape, since I'm not using my magnet board, to just hold this down so it doesn't move around on me while I'm trying to do it. Thought I had an extra piece. I got to get another piece here real quick. My fingernails do not want to grab this tape. There we go. Don't need very much. I just want to hold it down. Okay, so then I'm going to start with my Charming Chartreuse. Boy, that's hard for me to say today. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to ink in that largest circle. So, and I'm starting kind of off on the stenciled area and then pulling in just so that I have a little bit more of a smooth line for that. And just filling it in. Sometimes it's just so fun just to play with ink, just to, you know, swoosh and swirl, and it's just very satisfying. And this color lightens up as it dries too, so depending on how light you want it. Just kind of play around with that. So that's the first circle, and then I'm going to work on, let me move my card out here a little bit more. Then I'm going to work on the next level of circles. So I chose to use the biggest circle in the so many circles for my next one. However, that circle is not a ton smaller than the medium-sized circle on the Krafty stencil. Hi, Pat. So this biggest circle on the so many circles is not a bunch smaller than the medium-sized circle on your Krafty scenery stencil. So if you don't want to use the so many circles for that, that's great. Just use this one. It's a little bit bigger. It'll be fine. I'm going to grab my other one since I took all that time to mask it off and get it ready. And this circle, this larger circle, and this makes it a little hard. I apologize for the video to see. When I did it the other night, I didn't use it, but I found that I had to be super careful about getting it off the edge and getting my fingers all gross. So this way it just, and then touching the card, I just figured it'd be easier to do this. And it doesn't have to be exact. So basically what we're doing is we are just now going to create about 4 circles now, and you want to go, these ones you want to try to get all across all 3 of your layers. So I'm just going to pick one at the top, one here, and one at the bottom. But again, I'm trying to get my circle over all 3 of my layers of my white cardstock. And that color is my Enchanting Emerald. So I'm going to start like right about here. It's just going to touch my large circle a little bit, which is just dandy. And let's see here. Oh, phooey. I grabbed the wrong ink dauber. Oh well. So that's why my other one looks a little dark. I grabbed the wrong ink dauber. Okay, so this is the Enchanting Emerald. And same idea, I'm just kind of starting on the edge and pulling in. Now this circle, actually, I got a little off the edge, but that's okay. It's not going to be round, but it's going to be kind of cool. And it's nice when you've masked off on the stencil, because then you don't have to, you can just swirl. You don't have to worry so much about what else it's touching or getting on too, if that's what you want. So that's one. And then I'm going to move it down here in the corner, and I'm going to try to get all 3 of my layers without going completely off the edge, which is not too hard. There we go. I'm going to add another one. And it's super helpful when you're doing this to have your stencil not be moving around on you. So that's also one of the benefits of having all this tape on here, is because it sticks down. Helps you keep it from moving around. And you can see why I didn't want to do the magnet board, only because I'd constantly be moving it, which is fine if you're doing it for yourself. But when you're trying to do a video for people, being conscious of time and, them being able to see what you're doing, it's a lot easier if I don't have to keep doing that. So that's my next one. And I'm thinking, again, I grabbed the wrong sponge dauber because I'm getting kind of a two-toned color going on with my ink, which is very weird. So I must have grabbed the wrong dauber, but it's still kind of cool. You can see the color variation. So I'm just rolling with it. Okay, and so now I've got 2. I'm going to add another one kind of up here, and I want this one to overlap just a little bit on the green, the biggest green circle. So I'm going to stick it up there. Yes, the Solid Holiday stamp set is on sale. That's right, Kim. Thank you for, I was going to try my hardest to remember to say that today, and I hadn't remembered yet, so thank you. If you don't have this set, and I waited so long, and I have no idea. I loved this set, but I waited to buy it, and now that I have it, I want to play with it all the time. So I was kind of silly. So don't wait, because there's so many things you can do with this stamp set in so many awesome ways. Solid images are so great for a variety of things. One of the things you could do is you could make your own gift bag or your own wrapping paper with, the deer, the package would be awesome. Like get a big roll of white or craft paper and just stamp to your heart's content. Solid images are so awesome for that. And if we have time, after we do this card, I'll show you how it would look to make this triple time stamping card with the mug or the package, because that's kind of cool too. All right, so that's our third bigger green or medium-sized green circle, and then I'm going to add another one kind of up here at the top. And again, I'm trying to get across all my layers to some degree. So I think I'm good right about there. And I'm like this heavy stencil, or inker stenciler. I like my colors real dark and vibrant, so I love it when I see people just use it kind of subtly. I just don't seem to have that touch. It just doesn't seem to work for me. Okay, so that was the 4, and it's your pattern, so you put them wherever you want. If you want another larger one, someone in there, go for it. The third size that I'm using is, I'm switching back to the Krafty Scenery Stencil 1, and that is this smallest circle. We're going to use this one now. And like I said, this stencil is so awesome because I can just use this and not worry that my ink that I've used on, if I had used this circle or this one, is going to bleed when I use the small one. So now we're just going to add about 4 red circles to our card, and again we want to try to get them off, you know, to cover all 3 of our pieces of cardstock. So I'm just going to tape this down again, and I'm going to grab my ruby red. Pink would be really pretty with this combination too. The Pretty in Pink, or the Berry Bliss would be really pretty as well. Where is my red? There's my red. Okay. So let's see here. So here we go. We're going to do this one now. And we're just going to switch that in there. Like I said, sometimes it's just kind of therapeutic to play with ink. It's like instant gratification. Woohoo! And I'm trying to, as I'm doing this, make sure that I'm getting a kind of a crisp edge since I've got these layers going on. But it's not difficult at all. So there's one. Let's see, I'm going to add another one. I think I'd kind of like to have one right about, I don't know, where do I want it? I'm going to put it up here for now. I want one up here in the corner. I know that for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and move that one up there and get that one in. And this is where you want to make sure that you've tacked your layers down, you know, like I said, kind of good in the corners, because it will lift a little sometimes if you don't. And then it's not like it's a big deal, because when you add the layering piece, it kind of breaks it up anyway. But if you're fussy about that, like I am, sometimes you might want to just pay attention to that. So here's another one. I'm going to put this one over here. And even, you know, like with this, I have a tendency to want to hold my stencil really close and my fingers to get in the ink, but so I have to kind of pay attention to that so I don't do it. Mostly that's just to hold the stencil down tighter, since I'm only using just a tiny piece of tape and I don't want it to flop up on me. All right, let's see, we have 3. Let's do one more. Where do we need another one here? Let's maybe try here and overlap just a tiny bit and see how we do. Might as well. What the heck, right? I don't know. It's going to be different than the first one I did, because I wasn't really thinking, I just did it. So. And I love how our Kraftin Kimmie inks don't bleed on each other. So you'll see that the red might lay over the top of the green, but it's not going to bleed it or change the color, which is pretty darn cool. Pretty stinking cool if you ask me. Okay, so there's those, and I'm just feeling like maybe I want one more. Why? I don't know, because I just want one more. So I'm going to put one more right there. Real quick. Real quick. See how fast this is? Like, seriously, it's so satisfying, and it's quick. Quick. Okay, so I think I'll quit messing. Well, wait a minute. I got to do a little bit more here because of the overlap. Okay, so I'm going to quit messing with my red, and my last step as far as the stenciling is I'm going to go back to my, what do I want to say, my So Many Circles stencil, and I'm going to pick one of the, not the very tiniest, but the next level of small on the stencil. And again, I've already masked that off. Thank you, Annabella. I've already pre-masked it off just so I don't have to mess around with where it's at, or, you know, getting my fingers messy and all of that. So I'm going to come up here, maybe this time with this one, and try to get it, kind of want it way up in the corner here. So I'm just going to come up here and get it up here. Okay, we'll start it there. I'm going to grab my charming chartreuse. There we go. It's like not Charmin, charming. Oh, and somehow I was a little too aggressive with my little ink pad the other night, and I pulled it right off of the base, and so now I have to be careful. It keeps falling off of there. Okay, so now we're doing back to the lighter green. Lots of different colors would be fun. I just chose Christmas colors because of the theme, and actually this green that I'm using right now that I struggle so much with the name is my very favorite green of our greens. It's just a happy green. So now I'm just randomly going to add in a few of the this color circle, just so that I have a little variation now. And I'm going to put about 4 of those in here. Let's have one maybe up here-ish. My tape wants to stick to that. Let's see, so we need one more. How about, oh, I don't know, kind of like right in here maybe. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that'll work, huh? What do you think? We could mess around and stick another couple in there, but it might get too overwhelming with the other images that we're going to put on there. So I'm going to quit. My tendency when I start playing is to just keep going, but I'm just going to quit. And the next thing that we do with this card, we're leaving all of our layers taped together, the temporary tape together for now. And we're going to stamp a couple solid images and the sentiment on our circles before we do anything else. So I have already preloaded my stamp blocks with this tree here from the stamp set, the ornaments, and this wishing you a merry and bright holiday, which I'm going to put the sentiment right in there. So I'll start, since I've already got my Christmas tree out, and I'm using the Wicked Black ink for this. You could use a any darker color, really. I was just trying to think of, like, the Fresh Fields green might be kind of cool, since you got a green theme going on. That might be kind of fun. And I need to turn this over because I ink better on solids when I do the pad to the stamp. Okay, so there's one tree, and I'm just going to put this tree in, and I'm going to try to get part of this tree across the layers as I'm doing this, because I also want it to be part of my triple stamping technique. And it's rocking a little bit on me because I have kind of a bump in the table. There we go, I didn't do too bad. And then I'm going to put another one over here in the bottom. I just re-inked my black pad because I have been using the daylights out of this thing lately. All right, so this one I'm going to put a little bit more in the corner. And I'm just kind of trying to apply even pressure so that I get it, I don't want to rock it, but I want to get it down over my other subtle layers. And if you're, oh phooey, if you're, what did I want to say? If you're, I lost my train of thought. I'm going to try to put this back on here. We'll see what happens. Oh, if your cardstock is, oh gosh, if your cardstock is too thick, it makes it hard with your layers. I don't know if this is going to work or not, or if it's even worth it, but I'm going to try it. Oh, phooey, I really messed it up. That's okay. I'm going to cover it up with a dot or something. I'm not going to worry about it. Darn it. That's when having your Stamp-A-Majig is helpful to have. Ah, that's going to drive me crazy, but I'll figure out how to cover it up. I might just cut a little tree and add it on there. Dogs. Okay, so next is the sentiment. As they say, it's handmade, right? But that will drive me crazy. One thing I can do is I can just take like my black Copic marker and fill that in, or my black multi-liner. That will work really well, actually. Hey, Mary Pat, no worries. Yeah, catch the beginning and the replay. That's awesome. All right, let's see. So now we're going to do our sentiment, and I'm just going to kind of put that down here a little bit. I don't know why my dogs do that sometimes. It's like they hear me talking, so they think that someone is here and they're looking around for them or something. But we also have the windows open right now, and there's a lot of noise in the neighborhood with leaf blowers and sprinklers being blown out and all kinds of stuff. So the tiniest little things drive them bonkers, I swear. Okay, so now I've grabbed these little ornament stamps from the stamp set, and I'm going to try to find a spot that I would like to put them on. And I'm going to maybe come up here in the corner a little bit and try it. Let's see what we get here. There we go. You like the large dots. Thank you. Yeah, they're fun, aren't they? Okay. Oh, that's fine. That'll work, right? Cool. Kind of busy up there in the corner. I didn't line my dots out very well this time. All right. I am grabbing my 100 Copic marker, and I'm just going to fill in because it's really hard to do after you tack down the layers. So I'm just going to hope that I don't make this a ton worse. We'll see here. And I've kind of made it worse. You know, this is kind of the video instruction on what not to do. Nah, it's going to be fine. And like I said, if it drives me crazy, I'll figure out a way to cover it. It's just going to be really dark. One thing I can do is I can stamp over this guy again. I would want to use, of course, my what do I say? Platform, Stampin' Platform, so that I got it in the right spot. Well, for goodness sakes, it's just really going to give me a hard time today. All right, there we go. What the heck? It's different. It'll be fine. I'm tempted to mess with that, but I'm not gonna. I'll do it later. Okay, so now we've gotten the card stamped, stenciled. All we have left to do is put it together. And this is the, the super easy part. So we're gonna gently pull up our layers. And so since I've just very temporarily tacked them down, they're easy to come up, and I don't want to wrinkle them a lot. So there's our layers, and then we're just going to glue together, if I can find my glue. We're going to glue together the layers and the matting. See, this one's even fun just by itself, really. I mean, isn't that cool? But of course, we're doing a technique, so I don't want to stop with what I'm doing. So when you're doing the layers like this, you want to make sure your glue gets pretty close to the edge, but you don't want it oozing out all over, because then you're waiting forever for it to dry. Got tape on there, it won't move. There we go. Here we go. So I'm just gonna layer this. I'm gonna just build my layers now, and I'm just leaving a little bit of the edge. That's why it's cut pretty close, because you don't want a big edge. There's the first one, and we'll work on our next one. Make sure I grab the right one before I go too far. Okay. And again, we're just kind of plunking it on there. Well, we're not plunking it on there, but we're lining it up so that it's got a, you know, kind of even edge all the way around. And then I'll go ahead and add this layer to that one. Okay, and then this is where you want to kind of pay attention to how you're lining it up. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Okay, so you're just paying attention to how you're lining it up. See how your circles... I'm going to stop talking because you probably can't hear me over them. Okay, so you're just lining it up so that your circles, you just want to kind of look. And the nice thing about liquid glue is it's kind of forgiving, so it gives you a chance to kind of scooch things around a little bit if you need to. But so just watch for your edges to kind of line up on your layers. Like that. And then we'll do our last layer. Let me get it off of here. The beauty of live, right? Dogs barking. So much fun. Okay, so that's our bottom layer. Hi, Carla. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the other two on there. And oops, I got to make sure, again, like I said, pay attention to your corners because they'll lift. And that, that does sort of spoil the, you want your layers to be laying nice and tight on each other. So again, you're kind of looking at, you're eyeballing where your lines are so that it, you know, it looks like where it's supposed to be, and it looks like a continuation of your stamping. So there we go. There's that. Thank you, Carla. It's very nice of you. And then we just put it on the base. So that again is a pretty easy step. Quickly score that on there. And then I'll add some dots. And I do have time to show you quickly how it would look if we used like the package or the coffee cup. Tell me if you'd like me to use the coffee cup or the package to do another panel. I'll just do another quick 3 panel just so you can kind of see what that would look like. So we're putting it on there. Now see, now that I got it on there and the layers are there, I noticed that that black tree that I filled in is really standing out. But again, it's handmade. It doesn't look terrible. If it drove me crazy, I could fill this one in a little bit more somehow. I did grab some Christmas dots, but I don't know where I set them on my table. Well, doggone it. Okay, well, I don't know where I put them. I brought them. I was going to do it. So on this card, I added some of the cute little Christmas dots. Just randomly, I just did 3 on here. So we could do the same thing here. We could add 3 fun little dots. Like you could put one in the center of the ornament, or this one. Put a couple over here maybe. It's just a fun, bright, easy, quick card. The parcel. Okay, great. Let's do the parcel. So I'm going to grab 3 layers real quick again. I'm going to put them together. So again, the layers are 5 1/4 inches by 4, and I'm using the temporary tape. The next layer is 3 1/2 by 4, 5 1/2, 4.75. I'm just putting a little dot in the corner. And I didn't tape this one down to the paper because I'm going to put it on my stamping platform and try that. And I'm just trying to, oh, yep, there we go. Okay. So it looks like I might have cut my layers a little goofy because I have a bigger piece at the bottom on this one, but that's all right. We're just going to roll with it. I was probably doing it without my glasses. Okay, and then the top one, which should be 3 inches by 4 1/4, I think, because it's 1/2 inch increments. And those two look like I did them okay. It's just that bottom one somehow got a little hinky. Okay, so there's my 3 layers. I've got them temporarily tacked down. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Platform and put them on here. And I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of temporary tape on there because, again, to have the magnets hold it down is just kind of be in the way if I want to randomly be able to move things around. The reason I wanted to use the Stampin' Platform, which might take a little bit more time, is because if I don't get my color as dark as I want it, I can then do it again easily in the same spot and not end up with, having to color it in like I did before. So I'm just gonna grab this, and I can move my paper rather than my stamp, I hope, if I do it correctly. Let's see how I do here. So for purposes of just the card itself, I'm not gonna do the 3 different colors. I'm just gonna show you kind of how it looks with, you know, a different stamp. And again, my layers are funky, but I'm not going to worry about it. I may end up having to trim something off the length on that one. So I'm lining up my first one where I want it. I'm hoping my paper isn't going to lift on me. It might. Ugh, that's why you need the magnets. Well, this is just one of those days where if it can go wrong, it's going to go wrong, I think, right? All right, so I'm changing my mind. Where's my magnet? So that it doesn't move around, but I got to get my piece back on there again. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's try this again. The sad thing about this is when we save these videos out there and we've made a bunch of mistakes, people get to watch your mistakes over and over again. Okay, so, oh my goodness, I should have just, now the tape really wants to stick. Here we go. Okay, I think I got it. I'm going to put another magnet on here. Your kids were fighting during Carla's live. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, it's always something. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do a red package. I loved how when Carla did her video last weekend maybe, or a couple weekends ago, and she used this stamp set and she did the, she stamped the coffee mug and in one color, I think it was the pink, and then she used like the, the other color. Oh, just on the very edge of it to give it a little more definition, which was really, really cool. I liked how that looked a lot, so. All right, oh hey, that didn't do too bad. Lifted a little. So again, this is why you want your layers, but when we put another layer in there, that's gonna cover up that gap, so don't worry about it. This piece may not show up as much because I didn't drop it far enough down. Not gonna worry about it, it's fine. So then, let's see, maybe up here, let's try that. I don't wanna mess it up before I'm ready, so I'm just going to dry it off just a tad. It's not easy using the Stampin' Platform right now for me. Oh, I'm not even using it. Okay, let's try that. And actually I want that up a little higher, so I'm just gonna grab this maybe and scooch it up a bit. Scoochy, scoochy. All right, let's try that. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so then we're gonna do another one. You like this technique? I'm glad, yeah. You learn from videos. Well, that's good. I mean, we all do. I know I do. My goodness. And, you know, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to have fun, but you do want people to feel successful. So I guess maybe showing your mistakes does help people be successful, because then they're like, oh, I remember that she did that and that didn't work very well. Okay, so there we go, got it. And then maybe I'll just do one more up there. And then we could easily fill in with a couple of the dots from the stencil or something like that if we wanted to. That might be kind of fun. So I'm just wiping this off so that when I kind of lay it down, I know where I want it a little better. And let's see here. So I'm thinking probably another one just right up here, kind of in the corner. We're just going to have them kind of be tumbling across the paper. How's that sound? Okay, let's try that. My paper wants to lift and I don't want it to lift. There we go. Okay. There we go. Let's try this again. I really love this package. This is the first time like I said, I didn't get this stamp set all that long ago, so it's really fun to be using it today. And I'm just kind of giving it a good squash because this stamp is so solid that you do have to give a little bit more pressure where the layers are, because it doesn't have as much give in it because it's more solid, right? And it's a bigger one. Oh, good. That one turned out really good. Okay. So then, like I said, we could grab our stencil, we could grab a star, we could grab all kinds of different things. We could put a couple circles in here. You've already got the Merry Christmas in there. You could put like a gold foil layer or a silver foil layer in there. You could do, some green circles. Well, we've already got green out, so let's just add a couple circles, shall we? Just because. So I don't want the really big ones, though. I'm just going to grab a couple small ones. And, oops, there goes my ink pad again. Okay. Does anybody know how to re-glue your little inky pad thing to your base after you've somehow managed to rip it off? If you do, I would love to know. I keep thinking that I don't know what kind of glue I would use that would make it stick. I'm just kind of picking a spot here or there and filling in some green. Just for fun. Just for funsies. And I picked the smallest one of the ones that I was using. You could also, it would be fun if you really wanted to be really different. Could have grabbed even the teeniest little one and filled in a couple here or there, which I don't have any masked off. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I need to add one more. Let's go up here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, that's kind of fun. So just different fun. Like I said, if you wanted to take one of the other stamp sets, you could maybe throw a little tree in, or you could add a couple bigger dots just to fill the space because it already says Merry Christmas. And all right, right, so like I'm terrible at this. I'm just playing around, but I'm gonna try this. That's what it looks like before I'm gonna mess it up. Let's see what happens, right? Hot glue. Oh, hot glue, maybe. Okay, great. I did not think of hot glue. Great, okay. E6000 maybe. What is that, Mary Pat? Is that like a type of glue? Do you think I should try to make one more big circle, or should I leave it, you guys? I don't know what to do. Afraid of messing it up now. I don't know, it might be too much. I'm gonna leave it alone, just for now. And then, like I said, we could add some gold foil behind it. We could put some green behind it, which would be kind of fun. I think I might even have some gold foil. And then you'd have that layer. I wish I had one cut. Hang on, I'm gonna run and grab one really, really quick. Well, maybe I cut this wrong, but you're gonna see what it looks like. Darn, I don't know what my deal is with cutting things today. Okay, so I'm just gonna peel this top layer off, and I'm just gonna kind of set it down in here so you can see, even though it is too big. I don't even have my scissors with me, but I want you just to see how that gold layer, and just enough for it to pop, right? Just a little bit. There we go. See how cool that is? You can see the shimmer of the gold, and then you're not seeing, if I make this just a little bit bigger, you don't see where my stamping didn't come through there all the way. So I'm going to finish this one up after the video and post it with the gold so you can see what that would look like. And I hope that you will play and try this technique too. And I apologize that this has been sort of a funky training video for me today. But thank you so much for being with me and for playing along. And I hope that you enjoy not only a beautiful day, if there is one for you where you are, but also really have some time to craft and enjoy World Card Making Day too, because that is a super fun thing for all of us, right? So thank you so much. Don't forget that this stamp set is on sale. It's a fantastic stamp set. Yeah, the gold, it looks really pretty. I'm sorry I didn't cut that correctly, but I'll post it so you guys can see it. I'll finish it here quickly. But you've got this fantastic deer, this adorable coffee mug. There's 5 sweet little trees. I love these trees. So lots of options with this stamp set, like I said, and a fun, different technique, sort of a revisited technique from ages ago. And so just kind of fun. So thank you once again. I sure appreciate you, and have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye, everybody.